When was the last time you sipped upon a wine and you thought that tastes rich and expensive? I don't know about you, but I just love it when I discover wines that punch way above their price point. And today, I'm going to tell you about a wine that is budget wine at its best. Value for money wines is all about discovering wines that don't cost an arm and a leg, but offer you full value for your buck on the palate. So there is one such wine that I want to introduce to you today. The wine that I'm talking about is the Zenato Ripassa Valpolicella Superioré. Now, this is an Italian wine, and Zenato is an incredibly established producer. It is in fact among the top 100 producers of wine in Italy. The Valpolicella region is in the northeast side of Italy, and you've all heard of the Valpolicella wine, right? But you know of the Valpolicella wine as something that is cheerful, light-bodied, cherry-fruited, lightly scented, easy drinking wine. So why am I saying that this is an expensive tasting, rich, robust wine? The reason I'm saying is because this particular wine is not just an ordinary Valpolicella. It is in fact a Ripassa style of Valpolicella wine. So where at one end you have the Valpolicella wine, which is an easy drinking, approachable, inexpensive wine. At the other end of the spectrum, you've of course heard of the iconic Amarone della Valpolicella, which is made from dried grapes with concentrated flavors, lots of depth and lots of richness. Now, everybody loves to drink an Amarone della Valpolicella, but Amarones are not inexpensive. They cost a lot. In fact, in India, to grab a bottle of the Zenato Amarone della Valpolicella, you would have to pay upward of 10,000 rupees a bottle. So what do you do if you're a big Amarone fan, but at the same time don't want to pay top dollars to get your hands on a bottle? Your answer is in grabbing a bottle of the Ripassa Valpolicella Superioré from Zenato. This particular wine is gone through a very unique winemaking process where they take the dried grapes, the dried skin of the grapes after making the Amarone wine, and then they pass them over a normal Valpolicella wine, thereby adding more depth of color, more complexity, more richness, more flavor to it. The word Ripassa in itself indicates repass, which means that you pass over the dried grape skins all over again into a Valpolicella wine till it acquires more roundness, more richness, and more complexity. And therefore, a Ripassa style of wine is often considered as a baby Amarone, which means that you can get a taste, somewhat a taste of what you can get on an Amarone style of wine without paying the top dollar price that you would have to for a bottle of Amarone. So let's have a taste of the Ripassa Valpolicella Superioré from the Zenato. This is a 2016, so fairly youthful, but it's gone through a little bit of aging. But as you can see on the color, it's got this lovely, deep, vibrant color that already sort of gives you a feeling of richness, right? And on the nose, you get a lot of the dried fruit coming through. There's some hints of spice, a little bit of a leathery texture coming from a little bit of that aging, but it's a really inviting, rich nose, which is very appealing, very attractive, and kind of beckons you to take a sip. So let's not wait any further. Let's take a quick sip of this wine. That's what I mean by an expensive tasting wine. It's got richness and concentration of fruit flavor. It's got velvety, soft tannins. The texture of the wine is really smooth, and there are no rough edges. There's some spicy notes coming through, and the beauty of the Corvina grape, which is what is used for making of this wine dominantly, is just such a wine that allows you a lot of that richness, velvety notes without a lot of the rough tannic edges. So in terms of a wine, this is a wine that's almost has a slightly sweeter edge, but it's not really sugar sweetness. It's the sweetness that's coming from the dried fruit. So in terms of the dried fruit, you get a more raisiny profile rather than a fresh black fruit profile. As a wine, it's really warm, it's satisfying, and most of all, it's memorable. That's what we want, right? We want to be drinking wines that we remember for days and months to come and live to tell stories about wonderful wines to our friends. In terms of foods, I'd really like to encourage you to try this wine with spicy foods actually. So, Indian foods is famously or notoriously known for not pairing sometimes with wines because of the high spice levels. But wines like the Valpolicella Superioré, the Ripasso styles, particularly with their sweeter, rounder edges, they complement the spiciness in the foods really well. So I'd really like to urge you to try this with some Indian heart-filling cuisine, whether it's at home or at restaurants. I'm certain that a wine like this would pair really well with the Indian cuisine or even Thai or any kind of Asian cuisine that has some spicy edges to it. In terms of price point, the price of this wine is 4,990, so just short of 5,000 rupees, and that's really half the price that you would pay for a bottle of the Amarone della Valpolicella. But like I said, guys, this is a baby Amarone in a bottle, and it's really well worth its price. I am totally enjoying sipping on this wine, and I'm certain so will you when you grab your next bottle from the Wine to Wine cellar located at the Food Hall in Mumbai and in Bangalore. Check us out, buy this wine, and enjoy for yourself. Cheers!